We did it. We did it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 hey. What up, DJ? Who's in here? Rev. Oh, hey, what's up?
That's my dad. Hi, Dad.
Oh my God, that's Dad. Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Is that
Auntie
Auntie?
Maxine. Hi.
Hey,
Everybody's coming in, as
everyone's
they say.
Gordon, dear neighbor. Hi. Awesome.
We see the same things, right?
I think so. We should.
Okay. Also, hi, Shanell.
Oh my gosh. Hi. I actually haven't seen. I actually haven't seen you in a long
I
time.
know it's been like forever.
Dreaming. Too long.
Um, huh?
I said too long.
Yeah, totally.
Um. Awesome. Wow. Welcome to the cat job. Oh,
The
golden.
catch up. We need a theme song.
We do. Oh, we'll work on that.
Okay.
We'll work on the thing.
Jet. Jet.
Tay is here.
Way.
Can you
Oh
still
no.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Um.
Cool.
Let's jump into this.
Yes, let's do it.
So, welcome to the catch up. We
Welcome to the cat.
welcome to the catch up. So we literally, within the past few weeks, decided to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we so our history is first as friends, which
Yes.
is the fun part about it. And we are both currently pursuing careers in music.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Currently and forevermore, we will be
Currently and forevermore, we are
artists.
giving up the dream.
Yes, the dream. Hi, babe. Husband.
Oh, husbands in the room. What it do? What it do? Awesome. So we're both currently pursuing music. And so first and foremost, we're two friends who honestly need to catch up more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
We live hours away from each other, and
Like plane ride hours.
plane ride number of hours. And we wanted to use this platform to just kind of share our journeys, to share
Mm-hmm.
our journeys and our individual journeys.
Right.
Um, and hopefully give people some insight into what it's like to try to pursue this music thing, just
Right.
from both of our perspectives, both of our experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's part of it.
Yeah. I'll just add on to that we um have always tried to in our friendship to like encourage each other and one another's growth, and to kind of challenge each other to go beyond our own kind of limitations, and I think there's something really special about that, especially when we have these shared interests of music, especially. And then also with faith as the forefront, that we kind of, I think that has really allowed us to pick up where we've left off.
Mhm.
Because there are times when we don't see each other, like now, for several months. And then, but it's always just like, oh, like,
We
how's
pick
this going? How's that going? It's
off.
not like, oh, I don't really know how to talk to you anymore. It's just everything's normal.
Mhm.
Um, Travis.
Travis is here. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think that just the common ground, the common faith that we share, we're both
Yeah,
Christians. And we're just the type of friends that you don't have to talk every day, but when we talk, it's like home base. Like we
right.
left from where we were.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so another thing that we are hoping for this space is really,
Jalen. Daniel. Sorry.
oh hi, is really for it to be what hopefully people who tune in need it to be.
Right.
Particularly in the times that we're in, um, and both of us being Black women, really a space to heal, Us
That's
to
good.
heal, us to talk through things, to process things, and then for you
Mm,
all to just join us as we do that.
right.
Um,
Totally.
yeah.
So we're gonna do this every other Thursday at 6 o'clock Mountain Time because I'm in the mountains,
Mountain Girl.
and 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Every other Thursday. So this is the schedule for the catch up.
That'll be it.
Yeah. And if anybody along the way has questions or like ideas that they want us to talk about, you can use the little question thing that's there. Yeah. Somewhere along this line, there should be like a question thing.
Mhm.
And you can, we're here, like we want to catch up with each other. So we're going to just be like talking. But obviously we're on live, so we can kind of go whatever way it goes and allow this to be, as Shanell was saying, like allow it to be what it needs to be. Sister, always sisters. Do you know that song?
I,
From I think it's is it CC Winans, Krista? Always friends, let's stay real close. Okay, clearly that's not
love
my
it.
my
Okay.
genre.
I
So
love it. Okay, here we go.
okay, yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Let's jump right in.
Okay.
Christiana,
Yes.
I vote for you to go first. So just tell
Oh,
whoever is on here who doesn't know you, tell people, who are you? Where do you come from? Who is Christiana?
that's a wonderful question. And I'm also realizing that like it's okay that that is like not always the same thing, I guess. So
It's ever changing.
yeah, yeah. And
I
so I think as you like evolve and change, it's important to like have grace with yourself and not be like, why didn't I get that before? Because that's totally me. But anyway, okay, also hi, I'm Christiana. I'd like to now be known as Christiana Danaé soprano. So that's like also a whole thing that I want to kind of put my artist name as, you know, my thing and kind of like owning what I'm doing now. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. Um, and I am biracial. And I think that is like a huge part of who I am. It kind of governs a lot of what I consider and what I think about. Um, and especially in this time of just like a lot of uprising. Um, and I love something that I posted the other day. We were talking about this before, that the kind of the picture, this is like my roundabout way of saying who I am, but the picture that I posted was of like a sign at one of the protests saying, um, I, no, it said, this is not a wake up call. I was trying to get it right. That this is not a wake up call. Y'all keep hitting snooze. And so I feel like,
yes, I think that's me the other day.
yeah. And I
Mhm.
feel like that is kind of like my life, that I kind of feel like people are always hitting snooze, but maybe it's because I'm in these worlds, like two worlds. Um, and then I'm also an opera singer, emerging opera singer, and that in and of itself is like a whole loaded thing where I feel kind of like the snooze thing that picture was like really bringing up for me. Um, and that I've experienced a lot of interesting things there. At the same time, though, I'm mixed, black and white. My mom was born and raised in Jamaica. Um, oh, Chrissy, you said I seen that, yeah. Um,
Mm.
and my dad is was born here in America, but has family, of course, kind of European descent. And um, yeah, so I am married. I'm in an interracial relationship, and his family is from Latin America. Um, And so I've been learning Spanish, and I lead worship on our praise team. And so I do that in Spanish. So I feel like my worlds are always like, so sometimes I'm a little bit dizzy from that. But I will say that that is who I am. But as I started in that, I am kind of like allowing that to just be for now, and like allowing, not like getting so attached to what that is, I guess.
Which part?
Just like all of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like what it means to be biracial, and where do I stand having like slightly lighter pigment. But yeah, I like am in a country that was kind of like established in saying if you're just like this much, then you're all the way. And so I feel that for sure. But I don't want to deny who I am. But at the same time, people like Obama, The Rock, Amandla Stenberg, Elaine Welteroth, all of these people were just kind of like, yeah, they're black. Like Mariah Carey, like there's so many, Halle Berry.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of feel that. Yeah. So I'll say that for now, because we also have like, we can unwrap as we go.
Yeah, we'll do it.
So who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like what you said, and I feel like I definitely agree that it's ever changing. It's
Mm-hmm.
ever changing who we are and
Yeah.
how we define ourselves. I think there are certain things that stand tried and true, and one thing that I don't know, I heard someone talking and he was like, the first way that I describe myself, that just the way he naturally gravitates toward describing himself was as a black man. And that was
Mm-hmm.
the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so just in light of everything that's been going on the past couple of weeks, I don't know that I've ever like first described myself as a black woman, because I think I just have never first gone to that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think one thing that I want to sort of stray from is defining myself by some of the constructs and confines that the world has really put in
Mm-hmm.
place. And
Mm-hmm.
at the core of it, race is one of them.
Right.
Um, so that being said, I think at this time in my life, one of the first things I would describe myself as is a follower of Jesus, a Christian.
That's how I God.
I think that's because it's just such an important part of who I am, and um, it informs a lot of the things that really everything that I do, my music, my
Mm-hmm.
ambitions, and my work. So following that, I'm an artist and a musician. I am, in addition, pursuing other things. I'm pursuing music therapy. I'm studying music therapy while I'm also pursuing a career in music. And I'm hoping that the two will intertwine, as they already have in many ways, that they'll continue to intertwine, as far as creating music that is healing, and that truly brings people from where they were or where they are to where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I recently changed my bio on Instagram to say, this is where music brings you from where you are to where you need to be.
Ooh,
Um, because
that's
I
good.
feel like that's the essence, in that is the essence of healing, and like where we need to go. And I believe that all of us need healing in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Music does heal. I love it. It's so true. Um, so I think that's what I would say as far
Mm-hmm.
as who I am right now, um, and what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say something that is um unrehearsed to the, as you talk about like the healing power of music. So right now I'm in this class online with this very prolific um kind of man of Christ, somebody that is really big in like the worship movement. And he was talking about today, like the power of your sound. And I
Mm.
think that's so awesome. Um, Even just thinking, everybody might know or be familiar with the Bible verse, that talks about, you know, or even the song, Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. So that whole thing is like there was a sound, a frequency that was able to break every chain and kind of like make the walls fall. And so I love that you say that it does all intertwine, like who you are, it as like a person that is following God, you are like connected to this sound that is able to heal, as
Yes.
you were saying. And so, yeah, I think that is like part of our job, you know, or
As we,
part of our like calling as people that are doing this music thing is, I think healing is a huge part of it.
yes,
Cool.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's so on the heels of that, why are you pursuing music?
Because I don't know how to do anything else.
That
I'm not like you that like, oh, let me just do biology for like,
listen.
you know. Mm-mm. No, why am I doing music? I don't, not that I can't do anything else, but I really feel like I'm not supposed to do anything but that. But in that, as you said, there's so many things that I can do within that, within music. So it's not limiting. But yeah, when I sing, and this has been relatively recent too, because when I started singing, like a lot of us, it was in church. And for a lot of people that are kind of in our circle or whatever, that didn't mean, or let me say, that meant like gospel and, or like hymns and really like exciting and lively music. And so for me, that was my start. And then I did this program out of Berklee College of Music since I was in 7th grade, and did that all the way through high school. It was kind of like a prep kind of thing after school, whatever. And so Berklee, as you know, is like basically contemporary music, jazz, pop, R&B, whatever's on the radio. And so when I made the decision to like, hey, I'm gonna hop back like 200 years at least to do classical music, that wasn't like a conscious choice. It was either, do I want to go to this school or this school? But I didn't realize that going to this school, which is where we met at Gordon, meant that I couldn't do popular music. Like it things weren't connecting.
Okay,
I wasn't
yeah.
thinking all the way through. Because had I thought all the way through, maybe we wouldn't be here. But it wasn't until I did that for, you know, I went to school for that. And then there started to be like a spark, like a fire burning that would, as I would sing in that way, it'd be like, yeah, it was like a wave of like, this is what you're supposed to do. And I feel that, and I'm learning to now like respect that, and therefore I'm like practicing and being diligent about that, and really being, you know, on with my teacher and making sure that I'm getting out there and auditioning and try to put myself out there a little bit more, rather than just like waiting for me to have it all together and everything perfect within this new genre that I've been kind of studying since college. But yeah, that, I guess that's it, it's this like spark that happens kind of in the moment. And even sometimes when I'm practicing, I'm just kind of like, I just get this like wave of like peace and assurance and like just a good feeling. Like this is for you. And even on the stage when we're doing like a production, it's so much more fulfilling. And not to say that I don't maybe feel a little bit of that when I'm doing other sorts of styles, but it's very particular for me when I am singing classical music, when I'm singing opera or art song or something like that. It's just like, yeah, this is why I do this.
Yeah.
So
I love it. And I
yeah.
think of that as far as just it feeling right.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it sounds dumb. Does it sound dumb?
It doesn't though, because I think people in other fields would say the same. And I mean, speaking from my experience, I was a biology major. I studied biology in college, and I was planning on going initially. I had a lot of ideas about what I wanted to do, and the thing I was doing kind of before I decided I was going toward music was I was planning on applying to physical therapy school and going down a completely different route.
Mm-hmm.
I decided not to because I didn't feel as though I was fulfilled going down that route.
Mm-hmm.
So I found some programs in music therapy, and even prior to that, I was already writing music, and so that's just where I decided to go. And I think more recently, as far as the music and the healing piece and the study of music therapy, along with being a creator of music, has just sort of aligned me well down very sort of direct and specific path.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
I think that kind of also brings back what we were talking about before, like you're on your path, which is like something to be said about that we all have our path.
Absolutely.
Um,
And I think, oh, let me add this. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
as far as kind of why we're pursuing music and what's directed us to where we are, um, my experience growing up, similar to yours, was in the church. I grew
Mm-hmm.
up around gospel music primarily when it came to being in the church environment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think it was the end of high school, I started playing the acoustic guitar. And I remember vividly, I think it had to be like one of the first times that I brought my acoustic guitar to church and I played on a Sunday. And
Wow.
as I was leaving, somebody stopped me, and this older woman, she was like, "Oh, I didn't know that was for women. I thought only men play
What?
guitar."
Play the guitar?
Yeah. And so I was like, huh? And so it was things like that. And I've had other sorts of similar experiences of bringing something different into a space that's not used to it. Um,
Yeah.
and so I think early on, that was unsettling to me. I was
Mm-hmm.
younger and I didn't really know what to do with that.
Right.
Um, but I'm really coming into a place now where I'm just confident in the style that I'm pursuing, and that it's different from maybe what I grew up doing and from what people who knew me growing up may even be accustomed to hearing, but I, am confident in that now.
Did you I don't really think I know this. Did you like sing in I guess what I'm trying to ask is did you feel that like your voice was your first instrument or guitar
Um, I think piano was my
or
first instrument.
piano?
Yeah,
Same.
because
Yeah.
I started taking piano lessons when I was 8,
Yeah.
and then after that I was singing. I sang all through childhood.
Yeah.
So piano was your first.
Yeah, piano was my first too. Me and my sister, she better be on here. Um we both took piano lessons and then like rebel children that we both quit. And then I went back to it. And I had like another teacher or whatever. But when I did that program that I was talking about at Berkeley, my first okay, Chris is here. My first few years there was just piano. So I wasn't singing like seriously until like high school, and then more seriously when I decided that that would be my major in college because I went to a performing arts school where I was able to decide like piano or voice.
Right.
Um, and that's also probably why I did piano first, like when I went to that program in seventh grade, because you couldn't at the time. I don't know if they changed it, but you couldn't be in that program and do voice, which I think is like a great thing. It's very important to learn an instrument first, I think,
Yeah.
but just to get familiar. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's important.
It broadens what you can do vocally, I think.
But I
Really.
also loved what you said about that you're like doing something that's maybe a little bit different, which is so funny because I guess I don't, like, outside looking in, I feel like, and this is not, I don't mean this like by shade, but I don't see you as like so different, because I guess because it's just so authentic that it just like comes out of you, and it's like, yeah, this is clearly what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to sound, and it's very, but I see what you mean, that it's like,
It's funny because I don't necessarily think it's that different either.
yeah, but I see how you're saying that people will be like, yeah, this is different. Like,
yeah, it's funny though, because I mean, like that lady said that. I've sat
yeah.
down with teachers and like been working on a track, and they're like, "This is kind of weird," or like, "This is different." So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. But I totally resonate with that because I'm singing high notes all day, and people are like, "Where's the guts?" And I'm like, "In my high note." But yeah, I'm not like belting or anything like that. Not, but I also, of course, love like all genres in musical theater as well. But
Okay.
I feel you on that. Doing something a little different.
Question in here, really quick.
Oh, somebody did a question. Chloe, Steph. Let me go back. Vernon.
Let's drop the question really quick. I think it's a good question. I think it's how can you healing to our nation in times of trauma?
Cool. That's kind of like where we were going.
Yeah.
In a sense. So do you want to tackle that, or tackle that within staying creative through crisis, since that's where we're at?
It'll come up.
Huh?
I think it'll come up in where we're going. So
okay.
Yeah.
Do we just leave it here? I don't know anything.
I don't know how it goes. Oh yeah. Well, we remember it. We got it.
Okay. Yes. That is one of the things that we're about to answer right now as we chat.
Awesome. Cool. So I think we can't be on here and not talk about what's going on in the world.
Right.
There's just too much going on, and it's
too much
at once. I think the funny thing that we talked about when we were chatting earlier this week is that as far as, I've never personally been through a pandemic or lived through any type of COVID. So this is all new in that respect.
Right.
As far as the racial issues that have come to the surface over the past months, is not new. It's not new for us because and I'll speak for myself first, I've been having conversations around these things for years. I remember one of our first interactions actually was at college, when we were in college, and we both were a part of a scholarship cohort. And we went into one of our first meetings, and the director of the program at the time, I don't remember exactly how she said it, but she essentially was teaching us this first day about code switching and how
day one.
The first day, and we didn't know each other. So we were like, who is this lady? Why is she like making us think this way? And she was teaching us about moderating the way that we speak in this environment and the way that we behave in this environment. And I was thinking about this earlier, and I think back on it now, and I'm like, I've been code switching my whole life. You know what I mean? And if someone isn't familiar with the term, code switching, like regulating your candor or the way you're presenting yourself based on who you're around. And so I feel like I've been in many ways doing that for my whole life. I mean, a lot of my schooling was in predominantly white spaces. My church and home community was Black, African American. And so I was doing different things and almost being different in both spaces to an extent, um, which I think, you know, you think back now and it's like, wow. Um, so,
Yeah.
in light of that, I think we have been having these conversations about race and justice for a long time.
Yeah.
Um, and in particular, when I first moved to Boston 4 years ago, I was actually extremely surprised by how really segregated the city seemed, at least to me. Um, and I was beginning to notice these things, and then the Boston Globe released a series of articles about, it was 2017. That was actually 2017, the fall of 2017. They released a series of articles about racism in Boston, and just how prevalent it was. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's to the extent where there are certain parts of town that are just known for being black, and there are certain parts of town that are just known for being white.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting to me because I grew up in a predominantly black suburb in
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into this city, I was really surprised by the racial divides that were happening. And so one of the things that I did at that time was I started um, this small organization, and we would do events and bring people together to just have conversations about issues of race and other sorts of social issues that were going on. So to kind of touch on the question, I think many of those, even just the mere fact of segregation in the city, um, can present trauma in various ways,
Mm-hmm.
just from issues that arise because of gentrification and all sorts of other things. There are perpetual instances of trauma that are hitting
Yeah.
uh, communities,
Yeah.
communities of color. Um, and so I think that creating a space to have conversations is very beneficial. One thing that I strove to do with those events was to open every event with music. And
Mm-hmm.
so we would open with music and we would close with music. And I personally think that music can kind of take the edge off, and it allows people to really kind of let their guards down and be open to having conversations that they may not otherwise be able to get into.
Absolutely.
So that, I think that's one of the ways that music can really be a tool for healing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was I agree completely and love that um we have the opportunity to be like atmosphere shifters
Mm. Mm.
because of
Yes.
because of our gift. And I think essentially whatever your gift is, you have the authority from the gift giver to
Yes.
change that atmosphere. But
Absolutely.
but there's definitely something special about music,
Mm-hmm.
and we see that everywhere. In as far back, even as Bible times, um, the King Saul, I think, is like, "I'm troubled. Get someone to play the lyre," and then David comes up there, and then it's just like, "Oh, I feel better," or whoever it was. That's a story somewhere in the Bible. Read the whole Bible, you'll find it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then also even in thinking of what we're going through right now, like with the civil rights movement and everything, how those freedom songs really have brought us to where we are today in terms of you know we inched along with equality and equity and these sorts of things, of course, and we'll continue to talk about exactly where we are today. But I think it's interesting with all these protests and everything that's going on right now. I wonder what music will come out of this, because there are some songs, at least for me, that I associate with like the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
Something like Precious Lord, knowing
Mm.
that was Martin Luther King's like one of his favorite hymns.
Mm.
Um, just and then other spirituals that call to um, just kind of like freedom and like go down Moses, these sorts of things that I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like I can associate with that. And so
Yes.
I'm really curious as to the music that will come out of this
Mm-hmm.
and what it will sound like. What is the text to this? What is the lyrics that are going to be made from this current climate? I think
Mm-hmm.
that's like really exciting. So
It is. I'm
yeah.
excited to hear, and I
Okay,
think
thanks, Dad. Yeah, Saul was troubled. David's heart healed his mind. Amen. Yes, thanks, Dad.
um, no, I'm absolutely excited to hear the music too. I think it will further help document the times.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Um, have you? How have you been like personally affected by everything that's going on with both crazy things of
Mm-hmm.
this um, coronavirus pandemic and with and with the racial division that we're seeing highlighted? It was always there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We just appreciate cameras and the truth that's
Yeah.
um but how have you what has this experience been like for you, and how are you staying creative, how are you staying like the creator of you know with
Mm-hmm.
a passion for music therapy and music that rises above all of these sorts of things? How are you able to do this in this time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's definitely been challenging not to be able to connect with people in person in the same ways,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that in-person interactions just kind of, it breaks things up. I think I've been trying to meter my intake of media. Um,
That's real.
that is wild to me is just how, and I think in an unfortunate way, how much power the media has to regulate what we focus on.
Yeah.
It's insane to me that we overnight shifted from COVID to these issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Totally.
wild. And it's
Yeah.
like, I can't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't watch the George Floyd. I started seeing it
Yeah.
because you scroll and now it's everywhere. But I saw it and I was teary and I
Yeah.
could, it's extremely heavy.
Right.
And so I think that's the word that I would use to describe the racial injustice and stuff like
Mm.
that. It's heavy
Yeah.
because it's not new, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not new to the point where like my family, we have direct ties to
Yeah.
slavery and
I
stuff.
remember you told me that.
It's insane. The stories that I heard from my grandmother, and it's wild what's still
Yeah.
going on.
Right.
So to that point, I've been able to sort of channel that emotion to be
Mm-hmm.
creatively, which has been good. So I'm writing and working on pieces and things inspired by what's going on. I
Yeah.
think on the front of the coronavirus, the COVID, that Rona, initially this was all so extremely unexpected. I think initially, once I started to get into once I kind of grasped the reality of what was going on, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, this is kind of great. Like, I can have more time to create.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I still have that mindset, and I'm extremely grateful for the time. I think and for maybe many people, it's kind of an ebb and flow of like
Yeah.
awesome all this time, but then it's like, oh my gosh, I can't go to the coffee shop and I can't go see my friends and I can't go walk through the city and get
Mm-hmm.
inspired by random things that I see or random people that I bump into.
Right.
So I think I've been challenged to find different ways to seek different sources of inspiration. Um,
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's making sure that I call friends, making sure that I don't like completely check out from media to some extent, because that's sort of the connection to what's going on in the world. I've found a few magazines to read. I've been reading a lot of books, um,
Mm,
and sort of selectively watching shows that are like, I mean, some for entertainment, but also ones that are just inspiring and that sort of make
yeah,
you think in a different way.
totally.
So I think that's how I've been dealing.
Yeah.
How about you?
Um, yeah. This is such an interesting time because I really feel like, oh, there's a little echo. Do you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Um, there's, well, now I'm hearing it again. Maybe not. Um, that this has been interesting in that we have more time to do things that we'd want to do. Even this, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, there has been
Like
a
before,
lot
I
of,
was like, sorry.
right?
Sorry.
No time. Yeah. And so it's forced us to slow down. Um,
Yes, absolutely.
I just, I try to be a little bit like sensitive though to like, yo, mad people died and
Yes,
are dying.
yes.
Um,
And that's
and
what, interrupt you, but that's what's crazy to me is that
yeah,
some people are going back to normal like nothing happened. I know people who lost people.
yeah,
Like
literally.
this
Yeah,
is coronavirus was real, and it's still
yeah, yeah.
so mask.
And, right. Mask. So, but it's the worst when you have makeup on and then you have to put on a mask. And it's like,
Right, and then you got to wash the mask.
yeah. But yeah, so I've been trying to like keep that as the perspective, or just maybe keep that in perspective, I should
Yeah.
say. That like I appreciate this time, and that there is more time, which is also false because the days didn't get longer. So I don't know,
Right,
but
hours.
yeah,
It's crazy,
right,
right?
yeah,
It's like it's so crazy. I was talking
yeah,
about time. I think I was talking to my dad about time the other day, and the way that time, like time, is just our way of not going crazy.
right, yeah,
It's our measure. It's our unit of measure of life.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so at the same time, though, I know a lot of people are now like being overworked now that they have all this time because you don't have like a cutoff. It's like, oh, you're at home, just like work in bed until 9 o'clock and then get up and do it again. So that's a little bit unhealthy.
Hmm.
But I think something that, and I don't want to like totally misquote him, but something that I loved that TV Jake said like several weeks ago. Um, and I don't even know that it was pertaining to the coronavirus or when coronavirus like really hit our side of the earth. But he was saying that we as Christians are so used to being the underdog
Mm.
and just having this like quiet, confident hope that we will rise and there will be victory. And so I think, as you were saying before, like that's where we kind of root our identity in the midst of this like very scary, very uncertain time. It's just my hope is built on nothing less but Jesus Christ and his righteousness. Like I have to just like that's where I'm at. And that's where I'm trying to be with, as we were saying, like the sensitivity of people are not making it.
Mm.
Um, and so and in relation to like as we're talking about identity as well, I think that's something that I've really because I love to sing spirituals, um, and that's something that I really can just like draw strength like from the ancestors, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it
Mm-hmm.
just like that we could keep going. Like as Black people, we are so innovative. Like we always find ways to continue and to persevere. That's literally, I feel, one of the like positive staples of being a person of color.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you might be under
Yes.
it, but you will find a way
Mm-hmm.
because it's just in you. There's just like inner strength that just comes.
That's just
Um,
what we do.
yeah, yeah, and so that, I guess that has been my, how I would answer like how coronavirus and just everything, how it's all been affecting me, is that I feel like I'm just really trying to mourn with those who mourn because this is
Mm-hmm.
real.
Yes.
Um, but also just having the hope and just being committed to what I feel, like we were saying, what I feel that it is that I'm supposed to do. Like I'm supposed to sing. So my job, my activism is
Mm-hmm.
to be a light. You
Yes.
know, that's what I do. And so as much as I can do my part in this
Mm-hmm.
kind of movement, in this journey,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah.
Yes, I love that. Our activism is our work, is our art. For
Yeah.
everyone, your activism is your work, and
Yeah.
that is your contribution. See
Right.
it. I think we should see it that way. That's how we should do what we're doing.
And then um oh my gosh. Yeah. I was gonna say, why am I forgetting his name? And then to quote Marv Wilson on my Gordon Peaks out here, Old Testament 101, him saying that work and worship are, I think, the same root word or something like that.
Yeah,
Then I can't believe when I
I'll,
was writing this post,
I'll
I
stop.
was like, we've been friends for 10 years. Like college was the start of college was 10 years ago. I'm old.
Oh,
So
no, don't go there.
but
Don't.
I was so worried, like, oh my gosh, 10 years ago?
It's
Gross. But yeah, that work and worship, yes, Marv, yeah. Work and worship are the same thing
very
in
much.
that sense. So like, and then what you're doing is like being a light and showing that activism, like you're saying, for art to be activism.
Yes. So there's a
There
question.
it is.
And then I saw David Shockett. What's up? I see you're in here. David said, "Yeah, more time, but all of it's been put into one big bucket. It can become overwhelming and crushing." Yes, I get that. It can. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's it's like a double-edged sword that
Yeah.
you so much time, and it's like all I want before this happened. All I wanted was more time, and now I have more time, and it's like,
Yeah.
I
Right.
have too
That's so
much.
crazy
How do
because
I miss it?
yeah, a lot of people are saying that like this is the moment that we've been praying for.
Right?
This is the revival, and it's like, but there's no stage. There's no like lights, camera, action. This is you at home by yourself,
Right.
figuring it out, you and God, or
Mm-hmm.
you and whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, we have to do inner work
We do.
before we get out here and
We
yeah.
absolutely do. And before we go off this topic, there's one thing I heard. I was listening to something a while ago, or since quarantine happened, since COVID, and they said you can use this time either as a boot camp or as hibernation.
Ooh, come
And
on.
so I'm choosing the boot camp route. I'm choosing the boot camp route. There was another question in here. To what degree is music an escape? And to what degree is it an answer to life's trauma?
Yo,
Cancer
how am I missing these?
by way of escape. That's a
Oh, yeah. That's what's so awesome about music. It's like juxtaposition all day. It's like both.
I believe it is. So I do like, and I would wager to say that everyone has had a sort of experience where you're listening to music, whether recorded music or whether you're at a concert, and you literally just feel out of space and time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the beauty of this man-made thing that we've created, music, it allows us to sort of transcend our moment in time, whatever moment it is in time that we're spending with music.
Yeah.
Um, and can it be an answer to life's trauma by way of escape?
That's such a good question.
It's an excellent question. Um, I think music therapy strives to answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, totally.
and I think one of the tenets of music therapy, I think, as far as being used to heal trauma,
Mm-hmm.
um, is is really to allow for a deeper processing of emotion
Mm-hmm.
beyond what can be spoken through words.
Yeah.
Um, because, and I think you and I both can attest to the fact that certain things are better said through song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you can express something better through music than through writing or speaking, through writing words speaking.
Yeah.
Um, so in that sense, I think it can be an answer and it can be a part of healing trauma.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The
Yeah.
only thing I would add to that is that for me, I, especially for like when I was going through my headspace and everything, was in college when I kind of made the decision, as I was saying before, it was not conscious,
Hmm.
to do classical music
Right.
versus
Right.
popular music, is that that was kind of like an escape from reality for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that just kind of centering in, I guess, on music. Maybe it would have been in whatever genre, but for me, it being like strictly classical music at the time, like that was my escape. That was something that only I had, something that only, because again, like we were talking about, like our circles where we come from and stuff, that was not like the popular thing to do. So for me, it was like this um place of solitude and kind of escape. But then for me, I feel like I as I've like got myself together in my escape, just go with me, then I am like emerging as an answer to life's trauma. Because if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, I escaped to music, and then it like fills me
Mm-hmm.
to a place where I can be an answer to somebody else.
Mm.
If that makes
Snaps. I love it.
cool. Well, um, how are you like diligently, or are you diligently staying creative during this time? What is your like sort of things that you do to make sure,
Yeah.
just like practically?
Mm-hmm. I definitely am staying creative. Have so I've tried the whole like write a day, write lyrics every day and write a song a week.
Yeah.
But I haven't totally stuck to that as concretely as I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
Grace.
writing every week and I'm creating music every week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm making progress on some songs to be soon released.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Plug.
plug. stay on my page so you can see when things happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been creating every week, just like writing things down and holding myself accountable has really
Mhm.
helped.
Yeah.
Um, I've gotten some books that have inspired me. Like I bought a book on songwriting just to help
Oh,
keep
nice.
inspired and get fresh ideas.
Hmm.
I like reading poetry by other people, because it just inspires me to hear how other people communicate things and how other stories are told. Um, so yeah, and as I said, it is hard. It's hard to be as creative. I feel like it takes more effort to be creative during these times of being on lockdown,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but it's possible.
Yeah. I think, and something that we had said offline before is that it's so interesting how creativity is seen as this like other thing and like not real, not like a normal job or something like that. But it's like this is how creativity or people's creativity, the product of somebody's creativity, is probably how you're getting through quarantine right now. Like,
Listen,
so why don't we legitimize this thing? Like, you are not getting through
if
quarantine
there were
without
no TV
watching,
shows, if there
right?
were no
All the
movies
movies,
or music,
right?
it would all be in the crib.
Right.
Or so I
So,
think it's absolutely necessary.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just, it's also so challenging when there's just such a damper, you know. I'm saying like specifically with coronavirus,
Hmm.
um, to be like, okay, well, how am I supposed to create? Like, where's my muse? You
Hmm.
know, my
Hmm.
my motivation. Um, but yeah, I think that goes back to what we were saying before, is that like that's in us. It's like your stage is ripped from you, but if you're supposed to do this, you'll just keep doing it, you know. Um, so for me, I try to practice almost every day. So I'll sing for like an hour a day. That's really hard when things are closed,
Hmm.
because if you don't have like a space to do that, especially
That's
for
part of my problem. Like I need a space. I want a
yeah, yeah. You bought
because,
one?
huh?
Oh,
No,
you said
like
you
I
want one.
want when I
Yeah.
practice, I would love to have an isolated space.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
what? I think it only gives us 1 hour.
Yeah, it does.
But
Yeah. Sad. But
we
yeah,
we
I
only
think
have in 30 seconds. Hi, Babeline.
I
I just said you came on here. Hi to everybody who we didn't get to say hi to.
I
So
know.
Instagram is about to kick us off.
Right.
Um, what final words do we have?
Final words. How many seconds do we have?
We have a minute.
Oh, okay. Um, I keep quoting this class that I'm in, but I just
I
love
guess.
that he said today as well that like in the book of Revelation, John was on the like secluded or isolated in the on the Isle of Patmos or whatever, and God just told him to write what he saw. And so I think that is our like, you don't know where this will go in this pandemic with all of what's happening, but just like write your words down, write your experience, like so that it could become something and be life. I think that's really important for us creatives to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so good. And I so agree.
Yeah.
I keep your eyes open. Everybody who's on here, if you're not a creative or a musician, you're probably creative in some way. So keep your eyes open for
Yeah.
inspiration, even in
Mm-hmm.
these times. Use these times. We are documenting these times. We are living through this.